Robot program. In this special episode, we are going to celebrate Star Wars and all the different robots that we see within that franchise. My name is Professor E, but in this episode, you can call me Princess Leia or General. I'm also joined by our robot overlord, DJ Schurz, but I think for today, we'll call him Stormtrooper. Behind the camera, we even have Chewbacca. We also have a couple special guests here. We've got our AT-AT Walker, R2-D2, and Darth Jader. We're going to talk to you a little bit about all these robots today and how they were created. But why do we, as roboticists, care about Star Wars? Well, in Star Wars, we see lots of different robots being used for all sorts of purposes. We see farming robots, translator robots, robots being used for flight, medical droids, and even Darth Vader himself has robotic prosthetics. So we can see all these different applications are different ways to use robotics within a futuristic world. All right, Stormtrooper.
Can I take this off now?
I think you can take it off now.
Oh, you know what? I know why the Stormtroopers die so easily. Because they can't breathe.
They're all suffocated in their masks.
They cannot breathe. I was fogged up in the first 20 seconds of that intro take.
All right.
Okay.
Well, since you're free now, why don't you tell us a little bit about our Star Wars buddies here?
Yeah, okay. These are robots that were toys. And of course, you recognize this guy here as being JD, who's been modified into Darth Jader. Yeah. So I've turned these toys into Easy Robots using the Easy Robot Developer Kit.
And you can learn more about that in a future episode.
Yeah, definitely. So can we play with these guys?
Yeah, please do.
Awesome.
Let's see how we control them.
All right. So I have apps created for each one of them. They're all connected right now. I'm going to start off with Darth Jader because he's the coolest. And we could start him off.
Wait for it, wait for it. There we go.
And then we have his breathing, and then some sentences like, I am your father. Isn't that awesome?
Very iconic.
And my favorite is,
I find your lack of faith disturbing.
Uh-oh, Andreas, watch out.
you're gonna get him.
Force choke.
And then put it down.
Don't fail me again.
Oh, that's pretty good.
That's awesome. So that's Darth Jader. As you can see, he was originally, or is, I guess, partially a JD robot. And what I've done is I've painted all of his brackets, and I've even painted his Easy B in the back. And his head, I 3D printed from a design that I found on Thingiverse. And I've added in some RGB LEDs into his eyes here. You can see they're changing color slowly, and I added his camera there as well. So, and I made a little cape for him.
Well, of course, Darth Vader has to have the cape.
Yeah, definitely. So he functions just like a regular JD. We can have him sit down, stand up. And I think the funniest thing he does, though, is in the regular JD, there's that grade 5 class made the fly motion.
Yep, yeah, we've shown that before.
Because he has a cape, well, this is great. Watch when he does the fly. That's awesome. So
Not normally something you see Darth Vader doing.
Definitely not. Definitely not. Here's something else you don't see Darth Vader doing very often.
Headstand, good, even with his cape.
Yep.
So it's important to remember that this is just JD under here. And JD can do all of the normal things that we show and we demonstrate. But in this case, we've made him look like Darth Vader.
That's right. So you can, of course, modify your JD at home as well and make your own Darth Vader, Darth Jader in this case, or I guess anything really.
Anything, a little bit of 3D printing and a little bit of paint and you're off to the races.
Yeah, and if you don't have a 3D printer, a lot of times styrofoam comes in handy. You can carve styrofoam up with a butter knife and you can spray paint it as well.
Great.
Yeah. Okay, and let's put Darth Jader over here.
All right, he's going to contemplate the Force for a minute.
Is he going to be in the way at all from the cameras? Doesn't look like it. We're good. Okay, next up.
My pal here, R2.
R2, okay, where's R2? R2 is using this app here. There we go. So R2 is really neat because he was, you might have remembered this toy if you've seen it. It was a Hasbro toy you can get at Walmart a couple years ago. And he had some basic function where he would drive around and he would avoid some obstacles with a sonar sensor. But it wasn't enough. It wasn't enough for Easy Robot. So we took him apart, and you can see here he's got his camera inside of him, so I can look up and down with his camera, and I can turn his dome back and forth as well. And I can make some different sounds. And I've even added some display
I
down
love
here.
this part. So do you want to change it?
Yeah, I can push a button to randomly change it to different types of displays. And then, of course, I'm going to get you to do the honors in this one. We can record audio and play it through the speaker of the robot. So you got something, a phrase ready?
I got something in mind, yeah.
Okay, here we go.
Help me, Obi-Wan Kenobi, you're my only hope.
Oh, that was great.
Is that good? Did I sound like Leia?
That was good. So we can drive him, and then we can push.
Help me, Obi-Wan Kenobi, you're my only hope. Excellent, we just need the hologram now.
That's right. Oh, it's so cool. He's fast too.
He is fast.
Yeah. Now you can see here, I can put the app up on the screen. You can see that I can control his speed with this little joystick, moving him around, and I can control his dome here and his camera up and down. So if I look over here, just turn him a little bit. You can see our camera guy, Andreas. There he is.
Chewbacca.
Chewbacca. I dressed up as Chewbacca outfit today. And of course, we can also play music. Like I can scroll here and choose a Star Wars theme song. And it comes out of the robot.
Doing John Williams proud.
Yeah. Awesome. Okay. So that's our two. Oh, you know what? I actually brought a screwdriver so we can take a quick look inside of them.
Let's do it.
Yeah.
See some of the technical components here.
Yeah, let's do that. So flip them around here.
And we still turned on.
Yeah, let's get this guy, Darth Jader, to sit down so we can get some more camera view. There we go. Take a seat, Darth Jader. Okay, so we can just undo this screw here and open this up. And I'm going to use this camera here to look inside. There you go. Look at all that goodness. So there's the Edu-Tech, which is the controller that we had used to build him. It's a smaller version of the EZB V4 controller. And you look over here, this is the H bridge. This controls the motors, and it's connected to the Edu-Tech. And then there's the servo here that controls his head to move back and forth. And then there's another servo inside of his dome to control his camera up and down. And then there's a speaker. And way back in there, you can see his battery. So there's really not much to it. I was able to use the motors that came with the original toy. I was able to use most of the parts. However, I had to use a lot of hot glue.
A lot of hot glue.
Yeah. So let's put him away. I can just keep his back off for the time being. I'll just throw him up here. There we go. So that was a lot of fun to build. It originally built it at a comic expo. And when I built it, it was on stage, and people were able to come and watch me, and it was a live interaction build. So people would come up, ask questions. I had the hot glue gun out, I had the Dremel out, and I was hacking this guy in real time. And that was, I think, 2012 or 2013.
R2's been around for a while now.
He has, yeah. He's been upgraded, but, I mean, he's my boy.
Good.
All right. So up next.
Back to the dark side.
Okay.
You want me to bring him over here?
Yeah, let's put him sideways. Let's swap him out with.
Okay.
Get some room. Okay. So I think everyone recognizes the at Walker.
That's right.
We did look it up.
That's what George Lucas says.
Yes. You can't even see over. Can you see? Do you want to stand over? There you go. We have to get you a footstool. Okay. So we can see all the apps here, and this is the AT&T at Walker app. And first up, everybody wants to see him walk. Right?
Absolutely.
Okay. So here we go. Isn't that excellent?
Even his ankles are moving. That's great.
Yeah, so I had to 3D print parts for his ankles, 3D print parts for his knees here, and I used a lot of hot glue, as you can see down there in these camera angles. Let me just lower it to get the camera angles. There we go. You could see. And it was a lot of fun. So what's neat about him as well, his head will look left and right, and he makes sounds while he does it. And then he has a winch here. If you pay attention right to there, I can lower his winch. There we go. Oh, it's going the wrong way. The other way. There we go. And lower it now. There, the string was a little bit caught. There's not much weight there holding the winch. So bring that winch back up. There we go. And I have an old squeaky winch sound on them too, which is neat.
Very realistic.
Yeah. And so let's see, we could also get him to do a couple different animations. This is one of my favorite here. We can get him to attack. And he plays the attack sound. Try it again. And he can, of course, wouldn't be complete without a little dance.
My favorite.
And let's see what else he can do. He's got some motions like a dog. He can bury and howl. And if you pat him, it's a good boy. Yeah, and then of course the funniest one that everyone loves to watch is no dog would be complete without, of course.
At least he gives you warning.
He does. And I've left his head open so you can put the characters inside still. And I mean, he's just a lot of fun. He's great.
So something I find really interesting about this particular robot is that if we look at the movie, the AT-AT walkers are actually pretty unstable. That's how they get taken down is we trip them, we find some way to get them to fall over. And when it comes to this guy, you actually had to consider how to keep him stable when he was walking.
That's right. So there was a lot of challenges building him in order for him to be able to walk. For example, inside, we open up his door here, you'll see where the controller is and where the battery is, and I keep it pushed towards the center here so that the center of gravity it helps him as well, because his head also has quite a bit of weight, so I had to hollow out his head to remove a lot of weight in there. And one of the things that not a lot of people know about when they look at this guy, because he does have these lightweight feet that are hanging, you see those, they just hang there like that? The weight necessary to get them to hang and fall, I'm actually using, you tell what's down there? Could you see?
I've seen these before.
You've seen
We've
them?
got
Yeah.
our hockey pucks.
They are hockey pucks. So I used a Dremel and I cut the hockey puck around to be able to fit it in the bottom of the feet. And also, in order to get his legs to work, I had these larger servos I found, and I was able to cut away the plastic and hot glue the servos into the plastic. So I had to really gut this thing out in order to get it to build it. His head, he has one servo located in here, which allows his head to move left and right. And then he has another servo up in this part of his head, which allows his head to move up and down. And he has some personality modes I've added here as well. Oh, and there's a third servo I should mention that is hooked up to his guns, which makes them fire. So the servo is actually moving back and forth really quickly, which is causing his guns to move. And I also made it so when the guns come back into position, they come back slowly, which is really neat. Watch this. You see they slowly line back up again, which is really neat. Adds to the quality of the build.
So this is something you can think about when you're creating your own robots, is if you're using the developer kit, where do you put your servos? Where do you put your different easy bits to get the personality you want from your robot as well as the functionality? It's not just enough for it to be functional, you want it to look good too. You want to consider all those little details.
And I owe a lot of the builds that I've done to the forum, to the community forum at Easy Robot, because I spent a lot of my time there and I talked to other builders who are always providing feedback and they're showcasing their builds. So I'm able to see what they're doing and get ideas from that. So, and I also provide ideas back to the forum as well. So anyone ever wants to chat with me, that's where they'll find me.
And if our community members want to take a look at the skit again that we had at the beginning of this episode, that everything the robots are doing, that's what they're capable of doing. There's no special effects there. That's exactly what they're doing. So if you have any questions on how we got them to do those things, I mean, that's really us. It's really me trying to make sure R2 doesn't fall off the table.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. I had all the phones set up all controlling the different robots, and I was running around. You called me a puppeteer, I think.
I think we did, yeah.
I was pushing buttons and running around and making sure that all the robots were being controlled at the same time from three different phones. And I guess really quickly before we can go, maybe we can cover some of the software and how I've created the apps that control these robots.
Yeah, so when we were building that skit, we had these different apps.
Yeah.
And you created those using the Easy Builder software.
That's right, I did. So let's get this guy to stand back up, because you know what? Be at attention all the time. The real Darth Vader wouldn't be happy to see him slouching on the job, would he?
Probably not.
No. So now we can take a look at the software. This is the Easy Builder software, where we design all of the motions, all the sounds. It's the programming interface for Easy Robots. And you'll see here, this is actually the model that I created for this Darth Vader. And if I were to click on, for example, this design button, we can load up the design editor, and you'll be able to see all the different parts that I used to be able to build the robot. Of course, they're all 3D printable as well. So you can see here, this is the head that I used. You can see,
and you can change this if you want to make C-3PO instead of Darth Vader.
You can.
You could do that too.
Yeah, paint him gold or paint him gray. It depends on what episode you're referring to. And let's see. So I can also modify this build if I wanted. And you can see here I have all the different sound effects in here. So I have not only like a happy birthday song and some other songs I put in here to make Darth Vader a little bit more personable. I've also added a Darth Vader's breath. And I found all these files on the internet. I just typed in Darth Vader sound bites, and I was able to download all the MP3 files, load them right inside of the soundboard. The camera here allows me to be able to do things like track colors and faces for Darth Vader. And all the different motions you can see here in the auto positioner, this is where I can actually specify the different degrees that all of the motions for the animation are going to be created. If you look at the headstand, you'll see here that this is all the degrees for the headstand part 1. This is the degrees for headstand part 2, part 3, etc. And then they're all assembled as an action right here as a headstand. And then lastly, to actually make the app work on the mobile device, I go to the second desktop, and you'll see this is the actual mobile app. And you'll see it here on this camera view, and you'll notice that they're identical.
And so that window in the middle, that's where the camera view normally is.
You got it. So in here are all my different buttons. For example, this is the You Wish button, so he would speak and say, right? So if I click on the button, and I can view the code, and if I click on Edit That Script for the code, you'll see here that it's playing the audio as you wish. And that's from the soundboard that I was referring to earlier. And
we're just using the Blockly editor as always.
Yeah, and some of these actually are using Easy Script as well. Like let's take a look at Headstand. If we click on Headstand and click on Edit the Script for that, you'll see that I'm actually using Easy Script where I actually typed in the command, but actually use the cheat sheet for this one.
Lots of resources available.
There are. So we'll cancel that out, and you'll see this is the movement panel, which allows me to be able to make the robot move as a joystick. And this one here allows me to move the camera of the robot. And you'll see that I have the servo D0 set up for his horizontal and D1 set up for his vertical. And these are the max and minimal positions. So building an app was pretty easy. I just create it, draw it, save it, load it on my phone, and Darth Vader comes to life. Okay, I'm going to get carried away if you let me play with it too long. So,
Since this is a special episode, we also want to introduce you to Andreas, our man behind the camera. Andreas, why don't you come join us up here?
Yeah, he's dressed up in spirit of May the 4th be with you.
That's right. Everyone's got to participate.
Okay, I'm going to put on
You're going to put your head back on?
Put my head back on here.
Okay.
Say hi, Andreas.
Chewbacca Andreas here.
Here, I have let's do this. I can't actually see with this on, but I'm going to try. Here we go.
I find your lack of faith disturbing.
Uh-oh. That doesn't sound good.
There we go.
Oh, no, not the Force joke.
Yes!
You just killed our camera guy.
Now we need someone else. So if you know anybody who can operate a camera, let us know. Otherwise, we'll build a robot to do it.
Thanks for watching this special episode of the Robot Program, and may the 4th be with you.
Yes.